Alrighty, so let's get started here.
Hello, we're live.
We're live.
We're live, we did it. Hey guys, thanks so much for tuning in. My name is Josh Clements. I'm the community manager here at BoxCast.
And my name is Wade Clark, and I'm a support rep here at BoxCast.
And we're super excited today to talk to you about what I like to call the freshman intro course to live streaming. We're going to be talking about a lot of different topics today, and we're going to go all over the place. So before we get started, I just want to let you know a couple of housekeeping things. One, you can download the presentation that we'll be giving today in the description. Well, obviously, we're going to cover a lot of topics, so if there's something that you miss, you can go ahead and follow alongside us and then look at these later and get a better idea of the information we're sharing. And two, if you're really interested in the gear that we love to use for live streaming, obviously we'll be covering that at the end. But if you want to see all the live streaming stuff that we use in these webinars and for other live events that we do, you can go to kit.com/boxcast and check out all our favorite gear. And then on top of that, there's also a video in the description that we produced recently about DSLRs versus camcorders. We'll be lightly covering that topic today, but you can watch the full video there as well.
Yep.
So those are a couple of things. The other thing is obviously you see that we have a live chat feature available, and we have live people moderating here today, ready to answer any of your questions that you have for us, whether that be technical or about BoxCast platform or anything. But if you want to ask a question for Wade and I personally, we'll also be doing a live Q&A at the end of this presentation as well. So we'll be answering those questions. And let's just get started by introducing ourselves a little bit more so you can learn a little bit more about where we come from. Like I said, I'm the community manager here at BoxCast, but when I'm not community managing, I also own a video production company with this guy right here, and it's called Bumble Media. So we do live events as well. We do wedding films, we do creative corporate work, all kinds of stuff in the world of video. So we really love talking about this kind of stuff for you guys. And we were in your shoes 6 years ago at the University of Mount Union. We were just getting started with video production. So we totally know what it's like to get started. We've made every mistake in the book that you can make, and we've learned from it.
Yes.
And I think a big part of that here today is that we want to teach you what to do and what not to do.
Exactly. Like, and if Josh, you flip over to my kind of bio page.
This is Wade.
This is one of our first live streams we ever did. We were actually streaming MMA fights to start. This was before I worked at BoxCast. This is when Josh worked here, and he's like, yo, I got this client. He wants to stream MMA. Let's go do it. I knew absolutely nothing about live streaming. I didn't know how it was going to work, but we just kind of dove into it.
Yeah.
And it worked, but we definitely learned some things along the way that we're going to teach you today.
Yeah, we learned quite a bit. And Wade is a great cameraman on the MMA page.
I am. So if you
too.
have an MMA fight in the Ohio area, I'm down to help.
Yeah.
But yeah, so like Josh kind of mentioned, I'm Wade Clark. I'm a support tech rep here, where if you call the phones and you're a BoxCast client and you have questions, I'm one of the people you get to talk to. As Josh mentioned, we started a video production company called Bumble Media, so we're still doing this like every single day and on the weekends. So this is really our life.
Yeah,
like
right.
we don't just like preach it, like we do
Yeah.
it, and we like live stream all kinds of events.
Right, exactly. So here's a little bit of an agenda for today that you can take a look at. We'll start by talking about best practices for live streaming. Like I said, the do's and don'ts, testing the network, talking about video bitrate, framing and composition. There's a wide range of topics in that we want to just get you introed to. Some of it's going to be really familiar to you guys. Some of it's going to be brand new. And then we're going to go into an overview of the BoxCast platform. So after we talk about the live streaming 101 stuff, we're going to show you what we do here at BoxCast from a hardware and software perspective. And then last but not least, we're going to talk about our favorite beginner video streaming equipment as well. And then, of course, at the end, we'll do the live Q&A for anybody who has any specific technical questions.
Yeah, and one other thing I want to mention, I'm actually live switching the event at this computer here. So if I'm looking at this computer and I'm doing some stuff.
It's not because he's a distracted millennial. It's because
No, it's not because I'm like texting my girlfriend or anything. It's like I'm just switching. So like here, switch the slide, switch back. That's me. So just in
we're
case,
not only hosts, we're producers as well.
Yeah, so just in case I'm looking down, that's why.
Yeah.
But let's get started. What's the first thing?
Let's get started. So this is the recipe for a successful live stream, I would say. These are the 5 very important things that you need to call yourself a successful live streamer, I would say. Number 1, the most important thing, and we're going to like bang this into your heads today, is that reliable internet is absolutely the lifeblood of your live stream. If you don't have good internet, it doesn't matter how many camera angles you have, doesn't matter how good your audio is, doesn't matter what kind of cool graphics you have before the live stream. Without good internet, you can't provide a good viewer experience.
Yeah, and I would say that picture of me on the cage with the camera, that's one thing that we did not have at the venue.
We had bad internet.
We had really bad internet. So we were also charging tickets, and we had a lot of viewers complain and stuff like that, and it was all because of the internet. We had good cameras, a good setup, we had an announcer, we had all this cool stuff.
Yeah.
But our internet was really bad.
Yeah.
So like the live stream looked bad.
Yeah, right.
So that was just, that's to start it off.
It's the single most important thing, and whenever you're getting started with live streaming, before you think about what equipment you want to use, before you think about who's going to be watching online, just try to find a good internet source, test it multiple times. We always recommend testing the week before, testing at least 15 minutes before, just to make sure you have a successful live event.
Absolutely.
The second ingredient to a successful live stream is a video source, whether that be a camera, a video switcher, anything, a PTZ camera, a security camera, anything like that. But you really want to have a good video source with a very good angle of your subject. So we're going to talk a little bit more about that today. Yep. The third thing is an encoder. And if you don't know, an encoder is just a device. Could be a piece of isolated hardware, like dedicated hardware like this, BoxCaster, that you use to take your video, uncompressed video, and compress it and send it off into the internet for CDN to receive. And then that is a very important thing for your live stream. Now, an encoder can also be...
It could be your phone. It could be a computer.
It could be a computer, although we try to recommend you stray away from streaming from a computer just because your computer is doing a bunch of things at once, and they're not really designed to live stream.
Right, they're designed to do like 1,000 things. Live streaming is one of them.
Yeah.
But this, like a device like this, is designed just to do live streaming.
Yeah.
So that's
it's going to do a very good job at it.
Yeah.
So that's the basics of an encoder. The fourth thing you need is a streaming service, also known as a CDN. You need a service that will actually take your live stream feed and distribute it to people all over the internet and where they're watching all over the world. So that could be like Facebook Live, that could be like BoxCast. There's a lot of streaming service providers out there. But today we're going to talk a little bit more about why we think we're the best offering for you.
Yeah.
And then last but not least, the reason I bring up online viewers is very important, is because without anybody watching, what's the point in live streaming?
Yeah, you can just record it and upload it later.
Right, exactly. So we'll talk a little bit more about simulcasting today and how to get more online viewers. But it's very important not only to have a great internet connection, but to have people watching. And I think people get really excited about the idea of live streaming, but then they don't think about, well, how do I get as many viewers as possible?
Or they don't market it well enough. They just think, hey, we're just going to live stream it. Everyone's going to watch because it's live. But then they do no marketing beforehand to actually get those viewers they need.
Yeah, exactly.
Or hit those goals they want with their viewership.
Yeah. So when Wade and I are actually talking with clients, we don't just talk about the production value and how great we can make the live stream work. We try to talk to them about how they can get the most amount of people to watch it as well, getting their content in as many
And I think we'll
places
get
possible.
into that a little later, and you'll kind of see.
Exactly. So that is the recipe to a successful live stream. Let's go through some do's and don'ts.
Yeah, so let's start with, as Josh said, do's and don'ts of live streaming. To start, and as Josh mentioned, we are going to harp on this so much, run a test at the venue either a week before, a couple days before, but this is extremely, extremely important to run a test wherever you're going to go, especially if you can just drive there and it's not too far away, and they give you access to that building. Now, we'll just kind of go back to the MMA example. We didn't run a test. We didn't know really what we were doing. It was like our first live stream.
Yeah.
So we just showed up because they were like, we got good internet. Like our Wi-Fi is so solid. Like you'll be fine.
Sometimes people associate good internet with good Wi-Fi, but that's not necessarily the case for streaming.
They're like, I can watch a YouTube video. We have good internet, but it's like that's a little bit different than for streaming. So what you're going to want to make sure you do, run a test beforehand and just make sure that, hey, when you show up on the day of the event, your network is ready to go because, like you said, if you don't have that, it's going to fall apart for the rest. Next thing is, connect clean audio from a mixer or a mic if possible. So right now, we have...
We're wearing
lavalier mics, so you can probably hear our audio pretty clean. Now, I think I can actually do a test and show you what the camera audio would sound like. So this is from the wide shot here. So I turned off our microphones here, and now you're just hearing us from the camera audio, which probably sounds okay.
Like you can understand what we're saying.
You know what we're saying, you can hear us, but that's not in question.
It's probably annoying.
Yeah, but here's like what it sounds like if we have good mics and we're hooked up to the audio. Now we're back on kind of our microphones.
Exactly.
Here. So you can see how that's super, super important, especially if it's sports or if it's anything, a live
Anything you're
conference, a
doing
church
with audio.
service, you need good audio.
Yeah, we actually say that audio is more than half the picture. We say it's 55% of the production value of your live stream because you can have a great production going on with 5 different camera angles and beautiful graphics, but if the audio sounds tinny or weird or hollow, like in the example you gave, then people are just gonna notice it. You notice it more. You notice bad audio more than you notice good video.
Yeah, right. Because you listen to like podcasts. You might listen to podcasts where just audio only all the time, but you never just watch silent video.
Yeah, right.
You always assume the audio is going to be there. So anyway, that's a tangent. But some other do's: use a tripod or monopod. Have a standby graphic ready to roll. Which I think the tripod and monopod thing's a little self-explanatory. Like you want to make sure your shots are like pretty straightforward. Like if we had someone holding the camera right now, and they were just shaking it, you would be distracted. Some people get seasick, like not seasick, but motion sickness from that. So that one's pretty self-explanatory, but have a standby graphic ready to roll if you have that ability to put a graphic on the screen. And do you want to tell them why?
Yeah, actually, last year, Wade and I were streaming a graduation. And while we were live, we had hundreds of viewers watching this graduation online. Somebody is walking across the stage. While they're walking across the stage, somebody in the crowd actually passes out. And there's somewhat of a medical emergency that happens. And during that moment, you don't want to show that. It's not necessarily good for the client. It's not good for the brand. So what we did is we actually had a pre-roll graphic ready to go, and we showed it so that it just said, please stand by, we'll begin streaming momentarily. And stuff like that can happen all the time in live streaming, and you want to be ready. So you can have fun with it. You can be serious about it and have your messaging down, or you can have fun with it. Like if something were to go wrong with this live stream.
Yeah, let's just say we lost microphone audio, and our guy Kevin, who's kind of running the camera, we had to fix some technical issue. We could throw up this really quick.
Yeah.
Please
you
stand
can be
by.
Funny about it.
Like aliens are invading our studio.
We'll continue broadcasting momentarily.
Right, and then once you're ready to go again, hey, we're back, guys. Sorry for the interruption. Let's get back to the content.
And I always recommend you try to be a little whimsical about it because then your viewers online at home will be a little more understanding and won't get instantly angry, but they'll be like, ha, they got me.
Right. So next thing is create, let me get this back on here. All right, create a separate mix for the live stream. So I wouldn't call this a necessarily must-have, but a lot of people really like it. They want to feel like they're part of the experience. So when we were streaming softball games over the summer, and what we ended up doing is we put a microphone right by where the batter was, so that you can hear like the crack of the bat. And a lot of people, I know the guy that hired us to do it, he's like, that's a really nice feature. Like generally it's just the announcer audio, they're way up in the stands, and you don't hear any of that kind of crowd noise or those like crack of the bats and stuff. And we did that just so the live stream sounded a little better. It's not necessary, but it's something that just makes it feel a little better.
It can make it so much better, and it also makes the viewer feel like they're there because obviously the people that are watching, maybe it's a church service, the people that are watching there don't need to hear ambient noise with the live mix that you're creating, but maybe people at home want to hear some ambient noise.
Yeah, even if it's we always kind of joke around, even if it's like the baby crying in the front row, like they really want to feel like they're part of the live stream just as much as if they were there.
Exactly.
So last thing on the do's list is have a backup plan, which just to give you a short, simple why you need to do that, you don't know what the internet's going to do. And you don't know, maybe like, let's just say one of your cameras dies or something like that.
Yeah, so live events are complicated and there's a lot that's going on.
There's a lot that goes into them, So what we're doing here is we actually have a recording going on. We have a separate recording from the live stream so that, let's just say our internet does go out. Me and Josh can just continue presenting, and afterwards we can get that content to you guys as fast as possible. But if we only relied on the live stream for that, then there would be no recording, there'd be nothing. You guys would be like, we missed the whole presentation, and we set this all up for no reason. So,
and BoxCast actually has this really cool broadcast replacement tool that will allow you to take a very nice, clean recording that you did on your camera or your video switcher and upload it in replacement of any issues that happened during your live stream. And you can go in and edit it as well and make it look better so that people after the fact get the best version of the live stream.
Right. So let's just jump right into some don'ts. Yeah, let's jump into some don'ts. Just a couple of them for you. Don't use free or public Wi-Fi. Don't use your camera audio, which we kind of showed you. And also try not to do everything on your own. So I think this is really, really important, that try not to do everything on your own, because it can get complicated. Like if it was just Josh who set up 2 cameras, an audio mixer, his microphone here, and he was switching, it'd get really complicated really
Yeah.
quick. Like he would get lost, he'd miss something. It's really, really easy to just forget something.
Yeah.
Or hey, I forgot to turn my mic on and we start talking and you guys are like, we can't hear anything.
Yeah.
Like that's why we
Yeah.
always have, or if you're trying to do chat too.
Oh yeah, if
Oh
I
my
was trying to
gosh.
answer your questions while I was presenting and
Like
switching the camera
just to
angles.
give you just our simple kind of 2-camera
Yeah.
setup. It's me and Josh presenting. We've got a guy on a camera, and we've got 2 chat moderators right now. So there's 5 people
Yeah.
that are all helping us produce this webinar. Now maybe you don't have that staff to do that,
Yeah.
but we're just saying, try not.
think-
If you're gonna try to do something bigger.
Yeah, I
maybe,
think when you're going to evaluate how much you want to put into your live stream and production,
Yeah.
you should evaluate like what resources you have available to you and
Right.
how many people you have to help
like
out.
I think
Because it's easy
yeah.
to get excited at first. It's easy to get really pumped about all the different things that you can do, but I think it's better to do more with less than
Yes.
less with more.
Yeah, I would say
And-
if it were just you doing this, it'd be best if you did 1 camera, a BoxCaster,
Yeah.
and you had 1 mic.
And
And
one
then you said, hey
microphone.
guys, I'm not doing chat right now, but if you post comments below, I'm going to answer them afterwards.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's like, that's the best he can do with what he's got. you
Yeah,
know?
right.
So anyway, but the only other thing we'll harp on with the don'ts is don't use the public or free Wi-Fi. Now once again, back to network. Like I get this a lot in the support world where people will be like, we're live streaming something at a hotel, they've got free Wi-Fi, and they say it's really good. It's like, okay, and like they go run a test and maybe it is okay, but it's like, okay, so when that conference starts and 1,000 people get into that hotel space and they're all on the same Wi-Fi, you could get dramatically different results. So I just
Right.
always recommend if you ask for a dedicated line, you ask for a way to plug in via Ethernet, via something like this, or basically you just say, hey, I need my own Wi-Fi that has just for me. If you're going to live stream, an
Right.
event. So just stay away from that. But
Yeah.
let's move on.
Those are some other do's and
Yeah,
don'ts. And
right.
like I said, we've made these mistakes ourselves.
Right.
So we're just trying to prevent that from happening for any
With
of you
you,
in the
yeah.
future. Let's kind of go into social streaming and talk about the advantages and disadvantages of going to Facebook Live and YouTube Live. So there are great things about streaming to social media sites, and there are some downfalls. And I think, obviously we're streaming to YouTube Live here today, and the reason for that is because we appreciate like what those platforms have to offer us. We think that they're great. We think that we could get more viewership by going to a social media site. But while we're doing that, we're also aware of the limitations those things have. And like Wade said, have a backup plan. So let's start with Facebook Live and some advantages of Facebook Live. We love Facebook Live because it is an easy way to get your content shared. They've done a great job creating a social
Absolutely.
media platform
Yeah.
where you can grow your community, you can engage with your community, and if you go live on something, people, while they're scrolling through their feeds, can find out about your stream.
And they prioritize live videos over recorded videos and
They
other
do.
posts. So if you're live versus putting up a recording, they'll put that in people's feeds way before.
Absolutely.
anything
yeah.
else.
Yeah, it goes at the very top, which is great. Some other great things are the engagement features and the commenting. So, people can like and love your live streams. People can comment and say how great it is.
Yep.
People can share it with other people in their community.
Yeah.
And that's how you can slowly get some sort of momentum for your viewership. And then I think like those are the main advantages, but for as far as like its limitations that you should be aware of, one, the quality isn't great. It's good. It's good enough for a small video appearing in your feed, but if you pull that video up to full screen on Facebook Live, it's going to look blotchy and compressed. And unfortunately, they're in control of whatever you
Right.
send them, and they determine how the video will appear. So it's limited at 720p 30. Another disadvantage is, of course, you have to deal with copyright restrictions with Facebook Live. So if you're a church and you're streaming a worship service, and even if you have that music licensed, if Facebook catches that audio and they read the audio waveforms and they determine it's copyrighted material, they'll take your live stream down.
Right.
And unfortunately, with Facebook, there's nothing you can do at that point. If they take your live stream down, you can't call anybody.
Right.
You can't get it kicked back up again. It's just done. And you'll probably have to reboot your stream or go through the whole steps of
Absolutely.
getting started with it.
Yeah, and the other thing too is there is some restriction on ads, which I don't know if they've updated this in the past, but I know last summer we were streaming these concerts, and our client was like, "Hey, run these car dealership ads and run this other like these food ads, these
Yeah.
whatever." Basically, running ads through the live stream, and at the end of each post or at the end of each stream, it would give us a warning message like, "Are you sure you want to post this? This has ads in it." we don't like want ads in it.
Yeah,
I don't
yeah.
remember the exact messaging. That was not a good way to describe it. But basically, they were like, you can publish at your own risk, with maybe your account's going to be penalized for that. So it's
Right.
like you can't even run ads maybe to like make money for the live stream on Facebook.
Exactly.
So, and
yeah,
then
they don't want you to do that.
yeah,
And then one other big disadvantage that I'll talk about is it's hard to get your Facebook live stream outside of Facebook. So it's hard to just take your stream and share it with other people because Facebook has done a really good job of keeping you in their platform. They don't want you to leave. They don't want you to share your stream to other people who might be on other platforms or over an email or anything like that. So while there is very high viewership potential with Facebook, the only downside is you're under their control as far as quality goes and as far as shareability goes. So it's got its advantages and disadvantages. Now let's talk about YouTube Live. And
Right.
obviously we're streaming to YouTube Live today.
yeah. And I would say a huge advantage of YouTube Live is obviously we really like their chat feature, which I hope some of you are definitely chatting on that right-hand side.
Yeah.
And everything like that. And also, you can actually push a higher quality to YouTube with certain encoders and stuff like that. So you can send 1080p and I think 4K there.
Yeah.
Which is great.
If you had a 4K encoder, you could.
Yeah, compared to 720p on Facebook. Also, the real cool thing I like about YouTube is that you saw the point, second largest search engine. Now,
Yeah.
have you ever, I was just thinking about it when we were practicing this, when you search for like a video, let's say you search like BoxCast webinars, or you search the title of this video later on, this YouTube thumbnail could pop up in your Google feed, but you never see like a Facebook thumbnail for videos really pop up because Google owns YouTube and stuff. So it's a really nice way where like if you're an organization and you're trying to like get people to find your content and they search your name, it's like those videos are gonna pop up first and those live streams are gonna pop up. So
it gives you the app, like people might discover your brand or your organization just by searching around on YouTube.
right, they might just be like, Cleveland churches or something. And
Exactly.
be like, boom, oh, all this content from them. The other thing, shareable links. It's really, really easy to share links off YouTube.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure
That's how we promoted this webinar,
Right.
actually, is we sent out email blasts, obviously, to people. We included in the registration a link to YouTube,
Yep.
and then they were able to get that content from there. Whereas with Facebook, it's not so easy to send those
yeah, you might have to
links out.
log in. You might have to do something like that. So, and then to jump into kind of the disadvantages of YouTube, they're pretty strict, I guess you could say, on the like having
The copyright?
copyright stuff. Yeah, and
yeah, they're even, YouTube is even more strict on limiting copyright access.
right.
than-
And I would
than
say
Facebook is.
in my experience, I know we had a client who was streaming a baseball tournament, and they had a baseball tournament on Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And Friday, Saturday, they were just most of their viewers were on YouTube, so that's where they were mainly streaming to. Friday and Saturday went perfectly, like no problems, great, awesome. Sunday championship day rolls around. For whatever reason, YouTube caught some kind of music in their live stream. Maybe it was just like,
Like a pump-up
like a pump-up
soundtrack.
song, like soundtrack
Yeah.
before the game starts. And
Which they're not even trying to stream.
which they're not really trying to stream. It's like, hey, the
They're
game's
just-
supposed to start at 1.
Right.
Maybe it accidentally started at 1:10, so they're still playing pump-up music.
Yeah.
And Facebook shut them down for the day. So now they had to like migrate all their viewers somewhere else, and it was a huge mess. And it was all just because YouTube was like, oh, you're copywriting stuff, bye.
Yeah.
On like the most important day of their weekend.
And again,
So-
with YouTube, and I've had this issue before, you can't talk to anybody. There's not a person you can explain your situation to. It's just, it's all automated, and it's sort of impersonal.
Yeah, it's hard to review. But and then the last thing I think we'll hit on is you need to authorize your account for live streaming. Basically that feature flag you have to hit on YouTube.
Yeah.
And I've seen it where it's been, hey, it's like in your account settings, it's under features, it's like you enable it, and I've seen times where it enables right away.
Yeah.
I've seen times it says, hey, this is going to take 24 hours to review and stuff
Yeah.
like that. And it's like, generally, I hope that by you hearing this, you have already tested the YouTube stream and you're already enabled before you show up to the event to do it.
Right.
But there are times where, hey, you show up Friday, you're like, cool, we're going to live stream to YouTube. I've been doing
Yeah.
this with my other test account.
Right.
Oh, crap, our account's not enabled. Oh, wait, now it's going to take 24 hours. Like, what the heck?
Yeah.
So you don't want that to happen.
Yeah, right. I have one more thing about YouTube.
Okay, let's hear it.
YouTube is great because it allows a lot of people to find out about you. But there are people that you don't want to find out about you on YouTube, and those are called trolls. And those are the people that, wherever they are in the world, remain anonymous, come in, say something awful, and then they get out, and then you don't even know who they are. Whereas on Facebook, obviously people, it's a little more transparent. Usually it's people in your community commenting.
Usually they're friends or something
Yeah,
like that.
exactly.
So they're not going to totally say something really mean. And I know with your YouTube videos, just in general,
yeah.
he just has people comment on them and just say, "You're wrong. This isn't right. You're terrible at making videos."
Yeah.
And it's like, what? Like, why are you so mean? Why'd you say all that?
Yeah, exactly. So if you don't want to
so-
expose yourself to that could be seen as a limitation. We don't really mind it, but I mean, there are just people that come out of nowhere, and you're like, who is that? Like, where?
Yeah, because they can
where
make
are
fake
even from?
profiles, and it doesn't matter.
Exactly. So you have to be aware of that if you're streaming to YouTube Live as well. Anything can happen.
Cool.
Let's move on and talk about DSLRs versus camcorders. I'm not going to go too in-depth into this because we actually just produced a video on this week that you can watch in the description. But if I had to just give you the basic summary of this, camcorders are better for live streaming long-form events. And the reason that is because they have better zoom capability, cleaner outputs, better connections, and they're better for recording at a longer period of time. They're just designed for that type of long-form event, whereas DSLRs, they're great. We use them for videos all the time. They don't always necessarily send a clean video feed.
Right.
They're not designed for long-form live events.
I know, and I think this could be a whole webinar in itself, but I would highly, Josh made like this beautiful like 6-minute, 7-minute long video on it. It's in the link, or it's in the description. I would highly recommend just going to watch it afterwards if you have any confusion about it. Or if you want to get into live streaming, but you just have a DSLR, watch his video first, and I think it will convince you. So
great.
Cool.
So let's get back to the most important thing about live streaming, and that is testing the network. Let's talk a little bit more about what you need to look for when testing a network.
Yeah, so on this graph here, you'll kind of see here are just some like recommended upload speeds for these resolutions out here, like 480p30, 480p30, or 720p30, 1080p30. Like these are just what we recommend. Now, it doesn't have to be exact. It's not like a science. Like if you don't have 13 megs upload, you're not going to get 1080p30. But I think Josh also has some pretty good graphs after this that'll kind of show you why.
Yeah.
But just keep in mind that you should, like, if you haven't started live streaming at your organization yet, you're going to want to, right after this, run a speed test on your network. And my general philosophy, or what I tell people on the support side of things, is I say, hey, run a speed test. If you get over 10 megs upload, you're good. You're going to be fine.
Yeah.
If you get under 2 or 3 megs upload,
you're going to see problems.
You're probably going to see some problems. The quality's not going to be as good as you want it to be.
Yeah.
So I would say that sweet spot is anywhere over 10. Obviously, if you hit like 8 upload, it's going to still be good.
Right.
But you always just want to strive to be over 10, over 15, over 20.
Yeah.
And if that means you got to upgrade your service or switch service providers because someone else has better upload speeds, that's the main thing for live streams, essentially.
Yeah, and upload speeds are more important than download speeds because upload is about sending information and download speeds are about receiving information. So a lot of times when people do network tests and speed tests, they get really excited about their strong download speed because that's what you use to watch videos, check emails,
Right, and generally it's a lot higher. Generally it will be like we have 100 download, 10 upload. That's like what the plans are.
Internet service providers will prioritize the download speeds
because
and give you more.
You're using that more.
Generally, you're consuming content, but in live streaming, you're producing and sending content out into the world, so you want a stronger upload speed. So it's important to understand the difference between the two. I think a lot of times people get confused by that. Like you said earlier, they're like, well, I have a strong internet connection because I can watch Netflix.
Right.
But it's like, well, in that case, you're obviously receiving the stream.
You're using like download speed, But anyway, show them some of the graphs you got and stuff like that because we're going to get into like resolution versus bit rate. Let me show you that.
So when it comes to, speaking of upload speeds, when it comes to video quality, as video producers, we can get really excited about resolution, like terms like 4K, 1080p, things like that, because it determines how many pixels are in an image. But when it comes to live streaming, I think what's more important to focus on is the video's bit rate, because that's actually the amount of data that you're streaming, and it's more important in determining the quality. So to give you an example of a water flowing through a pipe, if your resolution is like the size of your pipe and how much video data you can push through the pipe, then the bit rate is actually the water flowing through the pipe. And it's kind of a weird analogy, but I guess it's more important to focus on the amount of water flowing through the pipe, because otherwise you're going to have a situation like this, where yes, theoretically, you're streaming in 1080p 60, the live stream is detecting that that's what you're trying to stream
People
with.
can select that quality, like 1080p 60, but the data coming out of it or the water coming out of it is bad.
Yeah, exactly. And
So-
this is obviously a very sad image, and this is what your live stream could be like.
Yeah, you don't want that.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, whenever you're thinking about live streaming, just think don't think how can I get the highest resolution possible, but first think how can I get the highest bit rate possible for my live stream.
Right.
Let's talk about the rule of thirds. And now we're kind of going into more of what do I do with my video camera type of thing. And the rule of thirds is basically just this really simple guideline if you're just getting started with video production that will help you determine where you position your subject. So like in this image here, you see that we have the frame broken up into these 9 different squares, and it just evenly breaks things up. And what you want to do with this, a lot of your cameras will have built this like grid built into it, is you want to position your subject in these parallel lines going up and down and at these intersection points right here. So we have the speaker, he's roughly in this area. We left a lot of space over here, and it's just a nice, well-balanced shot. So try to look at these intersection points when you're placing your camera.
Yeah, and I would say
as a general guideline.
you could almost argue we're kind of on both those lines right here.
Yeah, right.
Like
you could say
for us in the framing of this shot. Like if I were sitting like super close to Josh,
Yeah.
or I was sitting in the middle and Josh was
Yeah.
over here, you'd be like, this is kind of weird.
Yeah,
why
exactly.
Are they so close
like,
together?
Why is there empty space over there
Right.
on that side of the frame?
Yeah.
And so this isn't an exact science. It's not something like, oh, if I'm not exactly on the intersection or right there, then it's okay.
You don't need to
but
get like a
it's just
measuring tape out for it or
Yeah,
anything.
exactly.
Yeah.
It's just a guideline for you to get started with. Another great example here is from Avengers 1. Obviously, I'm a big superhero movie fan. But here we have Thor, and you can see the shot is very intentional of him trying to get his hammer back. He's placed right here at this point, and then they have his hammer right here. And so what that does is it creates a well-balanced image, and you can see, oops, where'd he go? Oh, there he is. You can see within this image, he's also parallel up and down with this line. His chest is like perfectly positioned in that intersection point, and it just makes a very interesting shot. Now, you're probably not going to stream anything like that. It's probably going to be more realistic like that, but that's just a general guideline for you to follow.
Yeah.
So that's the rule of thirds, but we also have, when you're positioning your subject, we have headroom and lead room. And headroom is essentially just the amount of space that you leave above the subject's head and the top of the frame.
Right. So let's give Josh some bad headroom, Kevin.
Yeah.
So let's just
do
say
an example.
let's
That's
just
terrible. Like look
let's,
at that.
Like let's just say we were streaming.
Kevin's a great cameraman,
Yes.
and he would never do anything like this.
But let's just say some people do this, and I actually, if you leave this here, Kevin, I had an example. When I just was starting video, there was this. I went to this place. There was this big logo of the organization.
He was excited
in the
about
back,
the background,
and I was
right?
excited about the background. So I literally shot a video kind of like this. Josh was down here, logo was up here, and like at the end, I went to like edit it, and I was like, "This looks so great. This looks so great." And then like I sent it to the client, and they were kind of like, "Nah," like because it's just
it
not
looks
like a
weird.
natural thing.
It
you
also
know?
makes people look
like really small.
really small.
Yeah.
They don't look like they're in the right frame.
Right.
You know. So it's important to have the right amount of headroom, like a soft margin. Now we could also show too little headroom, which would be where we're cutting off a little bit of our
let's
head.
do that. So
You
there
wouldn't
we
want
go.
that either, because you'd be like, okay, there's no space.
Yeah,
between
you'd
them.
be confused. Why can't I see his hair? Maybe it's pink today or something.
Yeah.
But let's talk about lead room then. Same kind of concept. Here, I'll flip back to the
Lead
PowerPoint.
room is essentially when you have a subject doing an action or speaking in a certain direction, you want to leave space towards the direction that they're speaking in.
Right.
Here.
So let's just say Josh was talking to like the center camera. Josh, if you want to look at the center camera here real quick. So let's just say he was talking to that, and our camera angle was this over
and
here.
I was having a conversation with you.
He's
You'd be
having
like, who's he talking to?
Yeah, you'd be confused. Like, why is the
You're
camera
cutting
facing
off
that
the
way?
frame.
Right. So that's
So
just
try to leave space in the direction that someone's speaking or the way that action is going. A good sports example of that is right here. Right here, so you can see the pitcher is on the mound throwing the ball. You can assume the direction the ball is going to go from here, and that gives enough space to follow the action.
Absolutely. So these are just
Especially during sports, because what can happen during sports is you miss out on some things because you weren't giving that space in front of the person.
Right.
Maybe they're running down a field, things like that.
And I would just say these are just general rules. These are just not perfect guidelines, but these are just things to keep in mind when you're first starting to stream or first starting to use a camera in general.
Yeah, exactly.
This can be applied to anything, like creative videos, anything.
Exactly.
So
it'll help you a ton, I promise.
So-
The other thing we'll talk about is simulcasting. If you don't know, simulcasting is the method of just taking your content and streaming it to multiple platforms at once. And actually at BoxCast, we give you the ability to go to a lot of different locations at the same time. So Facebook Live, YouTube Live, like we talked about earlier, you can stream to Chromecast. Obviously, you have options for your smart TV like Apple TV and Roku and Amazon Fire. And then, of course, we have our own BoxCast.tv platform and player. And the philosophy here is in order to get the most amount of viewers, you need to cast the widest net possible. Not everybody is going to be watching your content on YouTube. Not everybody prefers to be on Facebook. Not everybody wants to watch it on a laptop. Maybe they want to watch at home on their smart TV. So in order to get the most exposure for your live streams, put it in multiple places. And we actually have a little case study for that right here. This is an event that Wade and I do every year with the Cleveland International Film Festival. And when we started with them, we were only streaming to their website, which was great because they have a pretty strong following and people knew to go there that were really, really interested in the live stream and were hardcore fans about it. So in year one, we got about 1,200 viewers, which is okay. But the next year, we were kind of like, hey, do you guys want to see what you could do if we went to Facebook Live? And right when we went to Facebook Live, not only did their website viewership increase just by awareness of the live stream, but they also got all these viewers right here that may have just been scrolling through their Facebook feed. Maybe they were a part of the film festival and didn't know that they were streaming.
Yeah, and I know a lot of the people who work the film festival were sharing it, so maybe it's just a matter of
getting your community involved.
I know I know Josh Clemens. Was like a friend I went to high school with, and oh my gosh, I didn't know they were streaming this. He shared this post about them, live streaming it.
Yeah,
so,
exactly.
Yeah.
And then in year three, we were like, you know what? Like, now that we've proven that this works, why don't we just try going to YouTube? Why don't we try going to Twitter? And of course, at that point, they had not only like built enough awareness for the live stream, but they basically almost multiplied their viewership tenfold in 3 years just by like taking advantage of those social platforms.
Right.
And the point is just like not everybody knows to go to your website for a live stream. That's where we recommend you put the live stream first and foremost, but also people are in different places as well. So we highly recommend with any stream that you're doing, if the goal is to get the most amount of viewers possible, to put it in the most amount of places.
Absolutely, yeah.
That you can. So let's go into an overview of BoxCast. So that's kind of like the live streaming 101 tips, but let's talk about what we do here at BoxCast. So we are based in Cleveland, Ohio. Go Browns. And we are a complete live streaming platform. What I mean by that is like we sell hardware and we sell the software. And what's different about us is we try to make live streaming really easy for people.
Right.
People that are new to it or people that have a lot going on in their organization. We try to make it as easy as possible.
I was going to say, I talk to people all the time. One cool thing about us, too, is when you sign up to be a client, you can call in and like basically schedule an onboarding session with like me or another support rep, and we'll spend a half an hour showing you everything you can do with BoxCast, or even helping you set up, obviously, over the phone. But it's just really a nice service where we want to make this as easy as possible for you. And I think the next couple slides will show you how easy it is.
Exactly. So like I said, we sell not only hardware, but we sell software too. A lot of companies will only sell the software, or they'll only be the CDN that you can receive the stream. Some companies only sell hardware encoders, and then in their minds they're like, well, you'll get it to a destination.
Yeah, and I think a big problem with just selling one or the other is if let's say you have an encoder and you're going to Facebook and they're not working together, you go to the encoding people because you can't get a hold of Facebook, and you're like, hey, why can't I go to Facebook? And they're like, oh, it's Facebook's fault. Oh, it's this person's fault. It's like with us, it's like we have everything. So you're like, if you do have an issue, we can look into, okay, here's what your stream did, here's what happened. Like, try this next time. You know, so it's really nice that we got both kind of in one.
Yeah, it's nice. I think it creates the best streaming experience is when you can use the same hardware and software under the same company.
Yep.
Here's a little bit of overview of the BoxCast platform. You want to kind of go over this a little bit?
Yeah. So I'll kind of jump on Josh's computer here, but essentially, here's like the best graphic for how BoxCast works. You have a video source, whatever that may be. Maybe it's one camera, maybe it's a switcher with 5 cameras plugged into it, whatever it might be. You've got this video source. Boom, you plug it into a BoxCaster. So you plug it into our BoxCaster or BoxCaster Pro via HDMI. You give this BoxCaster internet, and then all of a sudden you schedule on our dashboard and you're now streaming to the BoxCast platform. We do break that stream down and transcode it, so like all your viewers will be able to see in a multiple amount of qualities, which we'll kind of show you in the dashboard. There's some really cool stats on what quality viewers are watching in. But lastly, we handle all these streams for you. So the nice thing is you send us one internet signal, one video feed, and we pop it out to wherever you want.
One high quality video stream instead of multiple different video qualities.
Because there's other platforms that you have to send them, hey, you send them a video source, but you have to send them 3 megs here, 3 megs here, 3 megs here to go to Facebook, YouTube, Twitch or whatever.
That multiplies your upload speed.
Right, that makes you have triple the upload speed to do it. With BoxCast, hey, you send us, let's just say it's 5 megs, which is kind of average, middle of the road. You send us 5 megs, we take that and we shoot that out everywhere for you.
Yeah, right.
So that's kind of the quickest way to describe how you make BoxCast work.
Yeah, and the most popular way to stream to us is through our BoxCast encoder. So I'll show you that right here. This is the BoxCaster. It's just a very simple plug-and-play streaming encoder. And you have an HDMI input right here. You have RCA inputs right here, so you could connect a separate audio mix for your live stream, and then these two will work together. And then on this side, obviously you have a power source and an internet connection, and that's all you need. So cutting to this little graphic here, here's all the steps it takes to go live with this.
This is how easy it is to hook up, and I would confidently say that, like I was telling you, we have those times where we obviously schedule time where we can talk to you guys, and in that 30 minutes, mostly all the time, we get you up and streaming within 30 minutes. Generally, it's quicker than that. If you have everything kind of set up and you're like, okay, I plugged the internet in, the power, and the video, I'm like, cool, let me show you the dashboard, and we get a stream up right away. So it's like, it's really super easy. It's plug and play. The box has no buttons on it. But I would almost say, if you've never streamed before and you get a BoxCaster, we could get you up and streaming in 15 minutes.
I hope somebody takes them up on
I'll
that.
hold you on that.
So yeah, that's how the BoxCaster works. Not only with any BoxCast streaming plan do you get to use the BoxCaster, but the most underrated part of our platform is Broadcaster, which we actually did a webinar on last month.
Yep.
And this is just a really high quality way to stream from your phone. It's actually the world's highest quality live streaming app. You can do 1080p 60, you can do HEVC. There's a lot of great options for it. And this is great if you're streaming like a small group or a game off-site somewhere that you can't hook up the BoxCaster to.
I would say a lot of our use cases right now that I've seen are small meetings, or whatever. And you can obviously, in the webinar, we actually show you kind of how to hook up audio and stuff to it. So you could do like a big meeting with it. But I would say small meetings and like any sporting event that just needs one camera. Maybe it's a volleyball game, maybe it's baseball, maybe it's soccer. And you just set it up in the corner and boom, it just handles the rest. Really, really popular with schools who are traveling to another location.
Yeah.
Who like can't get Wi-Fi from them, can't do anything. They just go right off cellular and they make an awesome looking stream.
Yeah, so not only can you do really high quality production with your BoxCaster, but you can do very simple setups with the Broadcaster app as well.
And it comes with every
combo.
It comes with every plan.
Yeah.
So like if you sign up with BoxCast, you just get it for free.
Yeah.
It's not like you have to like download it for $9.99 and you get to use it. No, it's like you just get it.
Yeah.
So
which is great.
Yeah.
So let's hop into the dashboard. Now that we've done all this talk about hardware and how the platform works, let's just show you how it actually works.
Yeah. So I'm gonna give you a quick dashboard demo here. And let's see. Josh is scooting his laptop over to me. Oh, there we go. Okay. So to start, I like to kind of call this over here kind of like a control panel. And obviously this is all web-based. So you can do that. You can access this anywhere. You can access this even on your phone if you really wanted to. But what's nice is you don't have to download something and be like, this is my computer for live streaming. But anyway, so this is kind of your control panel over here. But let's just start with scheduling a broadcast. That's kind of like the meat and potatoes of everything you're going to do inside of the dashboard. So to start, let's just call this test. And then you obviously have a description here. You can put more information in there. You can put a link in there. Anything you want to put in there. Preview image is really, really nice because this is what people will actually see on your website or like Apple TV and
creating a
and stuff.
YouTube thumbnail.
Yeah, it's like creating a YouTube thumbnail. So we're on the actually Cleveland Film Festival's account. So this is the one that they're streaming here in a week or so. So I'll just grab that preview image from them. Source. So we've got the broadcaster up in here, and generally your BoxCasters would actually show up here, which you would actually select one of those. So in this case, we'll just select the broadcaster app because we got to put a box on their account for next week. So start time is, obviously, or start date.
You can go live now, or
you can go live now
in the
here,
future.
or like what they did, they've already scheduled their event, so they went, we're going to go live Sunday, boom, schedule. But actually, we'll just select it for now, whatever that works. And then you can even type in here if you want. I actually got confused by this the first time I started using BoxCast. I was like, you can only do 30-minute increments. That's dumb. That's not the case. You could be like, hey, we're going to go live at 2:50 or whatever, or let's just say 2:45. And you can obviously schedule however long you want. You always want to be safe on scheduling the end time. I would say we've seen a lot of sporting events where it goes to overtime, and they're like, the game's usually 2 hours long, and then all of a sudden it just goes for 2.5 hours, and the broadcast stops.
Yeah.
And it just kind of stinks because viewers don't get to see the end of it.
Right.
But nice thing is too, the BoxCaster is all automated. So you say, hey, start at 2:45. It just starts at 2:45.
You don't have to push any buttons.
You don't have to push any buttons or anything like that.
You don't have to be in the same building.
Exactly.
That the BoxCaster's in.
Exactly. So it's real cool. The other nice thing is you can make this a recurring broadcast.
So if you had the same event every week, same morning service, same corporate meeting,
let's just say you had it, every Thursday at, let's make this 3 o'clock. Every Thursday at 3 o'clock to 5 o'clock, you're streaming a meeting that goes on with the management team, whatever it might be. That you can schedule it out ahead of time so that, let's say you're the tech guy and they don't really need you in the meeting, you can just let it stream automatically.
Right.
You can make it private and /test, which really will just go inside of your dashboard. You can make it public, which will go to all of your embed codes or your websites or Apple TV, Roku, and stuff like that. You can also do ticketing. So the Cleveland Film Festival is not ticketing the event next week, but if they wanted to, they could say, hey, we're doing $20 tickets. And that will be on their website to purchase the tickets. Unfortunately, you can't monetize on social sites, but for now, we'll just make it public. And if I'm going through this too quick or anything, guys, if you have any questions, just hit us up at questions@boxcast.com. I'd be happy to help you after, but we'll just keep rolling. So we'll make it private since we're doing a test. This next part is what I tell people is the most important part of scheduling. It is adding a social destination. So you're going to see, you can add Facebook. If you just want to hit, hey, boom, 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 we want to go right to Facebook. And this is actually linked to Josh's account. So let's say, hey, we want to go to BoxCast, and we want to go to Bumble Media, whatever. And there's this other thing, test page. Cool. We want to stream there. Now, the one kind of tricky thing is, you will see here it says Facebook or YouTube Live, Periscope, and other RTMP. Now, unfortunately, Facebook has made a policy that will only allow you to integrate with their service if you have it separated on your account. So that's kind of like a bummer, but hey, if you don't follow by Facebook rules, they're kind of the big dog in the yard. You definitely want people to still be able to stream to Facebook. You don't want to fight them. But you can see it's just as easy to add YouTube or Periscope or this other thing called Other RTMP. Some people stream to Twitch with this, or if you're used to entering the RTMP codes from those services in here, you can just pop them in there and go.
Yeah.
So I'm going to actually delete these, though, so that we don't accidentally maybe start streaming to like the Cleveland International Film Festival's account. And there's some advanced settings here, but if you have more questions about that, we'll get into it later. But yeah, you just simply hit schedule. And you'll see, hey, this is ready to start in 14 minutes.
Yep.
You get some basic, you can promote this broadcast as well. And you can also add documents and stuff. But let's actually go into embedding.
So if you wanted now you've got your broadcast scheduled. What does it look like? How do you get that on your site?
Yeah, exactly. So let's go to embed. Very, very important option because you can actually stream. You can stream directly to your site and Facebook at the same time, just in case there was any confusion there. So nice thing about our embedding is we have some kind of advanced settings here where you can actually customize the player. So let's just say we want to do countdown timer. We want to do a 2-column layout. And the Cleveland Film Festival actually has a video in here, so we could put a looping video on their website.
Yeah, like a pre-roll video.
Like a pre-roll video that just loops and loops and loops before it starts.
Yeah.
So let's just say you would say, hey, let's preview this. What's this look like? Oh, maybe their video got deleted or something.
Yeah, maybe that got deleted.
Okay, well,
but there's the countdown.
How about this? Let's do this. Let's do thumbnail image. Let's pick this guy. Boom. And then let's hit preview embed. So cool. So you're seeing like countdown, hey, this is a public event that's going live in 10 days. Our test isn't on there because it's private. Let's just say we're testing the event. You wouldn't want that going on your website. And also a nice thing too is you should be able to. You can see actually their event from last year too.
Yeah, and you can watch past events.
Yeah, you can watch past events. So let's go. And just so you know, this is the code you'd copy and paste into your site. If you're not a website person, kind of like me, just give that to your website person. They'll know what to do.
Yeah.
But then, so you're like, well, how do you tell who's watching and stuff like that? So let's click on reports. This is actually pulling from the last 30 days. So let's do from their last year. So you'll see here, we've got a ton of reports in the BoxCast dashboard. Here's like their total views from like last year, unique views and stuff like that. There might be some more in here, but you can see if we just scroll down, you can see when viewers are watching. So obviously, if you're streaming consistently with BoxCast, this will be jumping up and down like crazy. You can watch live versus watch recorded.
Right.
With this being almost a year old, their last one, obviously they're gonna have a lot of recorded broadcasts. And this is, I think, the coolest part. So playback quality. So you'll see here, a lot of people watched in 240p. So like you think, hey, I need 1080p, I need 1080p, I need
Yeah.
to do 4K.
Yeah.
But it's like, are people watching in 4K? Are
Right.
people watching in 1080p? It's like you can really actually check what they're watching in. So that's kind of nice. You can also see, hey, desktop versus mobile, and you can also see what browsers they're watching on and where they watched it, what sites and stuff. This is probably the coolest part of analytics. Is
You can see where people are watching.
Where people are watching. So
Yep.
obviously, with it being the Cleveland Film Festival, Ohio is going to get the most views. That kind of makes sense. But you can see, hey, they had people all the way over here in Australia, or they had a ton of people in Europe watching. So I always tell people or tell clients, it's funny if like you say you have someone who moves away from your organization or something like that, and let's say they just moved to Europe. It's like, hey, we moved to Paris. We're still watching. We promise. It's like you can check on them.
Yeah.
You can make sure they're still watching. And it gives you some cool little insights. Hey, you have viewers in 34 countries and 85 states.
Yeah.
So cool.
That's a nice little. That's a nice.
Yeah, and I
like,
think the
robust
other
way.
thing we should show you is trimming. Right?
Yeah, I could actually.
Oh,
I
okay.
could knock that out.
Let's go. Let's
So
hear it.
once your event is over and you've archived everything, you'll see that you can check out your past broadcasts here, and all BoxCast live streams automatically archive, and you can watch them instantly right after the fact. So here we have this recording from last year. We'd like to go in, and we can obviously see it, like I said.
If our internet
Stand
allows
by.
it to play, there
There
we go.
it is. So that's like, we can watch it instantly right after the fact. And if we have some dead time, which is very common for live events, if we have a little bit of time that,
Which actually, I think we did trim this one a little bit.
yeah, we actually did trim it. So if we have some time ahead of the event and we have some time after the event and we just want to go in and edit it, we have this nice little feature that's non-destructive that you can go in so your viewers can watch exactly when you want them to start. Because the live stream doesn't always start exactly at 2 p.m. like you
Yeah,
planned
I
it
think
to,
for
and
this
things
one,
happen.
we started it at 8:50 and they got going around 8:55.
Exactly.
So
So you can go in, you can kind of get to a more exact part of the video that you want to get started at,
Yep.
and then you can preview it and save it. And like I said, that's non-destructive. So if you save it, you can always go back in
and change it.
and change it. Exactly. Not only do you have that, but you also have the ability to capture highlights, which is really cool. So while you're live and in the recording, you can go in and you can take a little segment of the video. So say I captured this highlight a couple days ago, but say I wanted to get a really cool part of the keynote presentation that they did for this. And you can do this at up to 10 minutes, right?
I think there's actually no limit on highlights anymore.
Oh, cool.
Only for ticketed events.
Oh, cool.
So yeah, I think we took away a limit where you can now just, even if you want to get a download of it, like what a lot of churches have been doing is they've been doing their 20-minute sermon or whatever. They just download it as a highlight, and now they just have just that file.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so-
that's nice. So then you can trim out the specific highlight that you want. You can preview it, obviously get it to make sure like it's where you want it to be. Boom, that's your highlight clip. You can save it.
You gotta give it a name.
Oh, I have to name it. So you name it, and then you can save it. And what's cool about that is, say you were putting together like a highlight reel of the game.
Right.
Like you wanted to get all the best plays from
Or
the
the
game.
home runs or the
Yeah, exactly. You can go
touchdowns,
in and you can download these as individual MP4s, and you can put them together in like a post-production program.
Right.
I think that's a really awesome feature, because otherwise you'd have to spend thousands and thousands of dollars to buy like instant replay hardware, and you have to have somebody dedicated to it.
Right.
It's really nice and easy to do it for smaller organizations just directly from the dashboard.
Yep.
So going back to this broadcast, you obviously can see a lot of different things. You have stream diagnostics while you're live, which gives you an idea of like how your network was.
And I think we hold those for like 60 to 90 days for you. With this event being almost a year old,
Okay.
that's why it's not showing up.
Gotcha.
So,
And then, of course, you have the ability to upload a replacement video, like I said. So if something goes wrong while you're live streaming, the internet cuts out, the audio was bad, you didn't get everything recorded you wanted to, you can always go in and take your higher quality recordings and upload them later so viewers get that best experience.
Absolutely.
And then, of course, last but not least, there's the ability to download your archives as well. So
Yep.
you can download an MP4 and do any editing you want for the stream. It's also a very good thing to have as a backup file in case something happens to your recording,
Yep.
your local recording. You can also push this directly to YouTube after the fact, or any of your YouTube accounts or your Vimeo accounts. And of course, a lot of people that want to do podcasting or make audio only files available, they give you the ability to do that right here.
Yep.
And it only gives you the audio section. So you don't have to go into a post-production program, rip out the video,
And do all that.
and upload the podcast later.
Right.
So that's pretty cool. There's a lot of different other things that you can do in here. I think we covered
like the
essentially
main
basics.
things. Yeah.
But the dashboard is just a really complete, easy-to-use place where you can manage all of your live content.
Right, yeah. So that's like the
That's how
other
I
half of
describe it.
BoxCast. So if you have any questions about the dashboard, like I said, definitely reach out to us, and we'd be happy to answer them for you.
And so everything we showed you today, actually, we just opened up new pricing, and we have a $99 a month plan called the Essential Plan.
Yep.
And that includes a free BoxCaster, of course. And so you pay $99 a month. You get the free hardware. You get unlimited viewers, unlimited team members, unlimited streaming, up to 1080p streaming. You get all the features we showed you in there.
Yep.
You get the ability to see the enhanced analytics and the automatic recording, and of course unlimited full support. So you can call guys like Wade anytime.
You can call me all day, and we can
you
just
call
talk
him
about
all
live
day,
streaming.
and he will help you out.
Yeah.
The only thing that wasn't included that we showed is the ticketing feature.
Right.
That's available in more advanced plans, but everything else you get, the social streaming, all that.
All that, yep.
So if you're interested, feel free to go to our pricing page, talk to our moderators. We'd be happy to help you get started.
Absolutely.
So another thing to address is I
think it's not like necessarily an elephant in the room, but it kind of is. But you're like, wait,
yeah, right.
we can stream for free to Facebook.
Yeah, exactly.
So
people ask us
why
this
would
a
we
lot.
pay $99 a month to go to BoxCast?
Yeah, it's a great question. So there are different types of live streams, and there's different reasons that everybody's live streaming. So I've kind of broken it up into when you should stream for free versus when you should use a paid service like BoxCast for streaming, just to simplify it. So free services are great when you don't have a lot of people watching, when you're streaming every now and then and it's not very frequent, when you have very simple setup and you're just going maybe from OBS or something.
Yep.
And you only have one streaming destination, and you don't feel like you need a backup plan.
Right.
And so that might be a situation where you're doing gaming like you do.
Yeah. I know. I do gaming sometimes.
Yeah, when you stream your own gaming.
Yeah.
Situations, when you're doing like a personal vlog, when
Right.
you're going live from Instagram in selfie mode, or just like experimental stuff. You just want to get started with live streaming. You don't know where it's going to go. So that's a great time to use free services like Facebook and YouTube and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But when you take live streaming very seriously, and it's very important to have reliability, people watching at home, you want to have a backup plan like we mentioned earlier. There's a lot of people watching. The biggest thing I explain to people and some of our clients is if there's a lot of people watching the live stream, you don't want to be limited to one
place to stream. So I know in the past too, we've done some videos where something's happened, but we're live streaming on our like website as well, and we just say, like, let's say Facebook takes it down. We're like, hey, Facebook took it down, but go watch on our website.
Yeah, exactly.
And so people, it might not get everyone, but
Right.
at least it's better than being like, hey, we don't know what's going on with Facebook Live.
Yeah.
So sorry, no live stream today. It's
Yeah.
like, no, you can at least direct. Let's say you catch half those people. Hey, go to the website.
Yeah.
And maybe they go, okay, we're just going to watch on the website now
Yeah.
because it's safer than
Exactly.
Facebook. So that's, yeah.
So when there's a lot of people watching, it's really important that you guarantee a quality stream.
Yep.
And you need technical support to help you just in case anything goes wrong. And you're going to multiple streaming destinations. Like we said, we give you the ability to simulcast. Then that's when it's better to pay for a paid service.
Right. And I would say, too, if you can do it on your own, it's more complicated, in my opinion. Like if you're trying to just do like the camera and the capture card and the computer and stuff like that, but the tech support thing is, I know I keep harping on it because that's what I do, but we offer tech support 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. That's every single day of the week. That's East Coast time, and then on Sundays even we're open at 7 a.m. to 9 p.m.
Right.
So we're here every day of the week. So it's like, yo, Friday at 6:30 at night we're setting up our stream, or we're even just testing.
Right.
I'm going to call BoxCast and make sure it sounds good, looks good, and stuff like
Yeah.
that. Even if it's just a sanity check of like,
Yeah.
it looks good to us, it sounds good, can we just like ping someone from BoxCast and make sure?
Yeah.
See if they have any tips. Like, we're here to do that.
It's great to have that to lean on.
Yeah.
And
So, and I think this next slide here.
Which, so a question we get a lot, there's a common fear with organizations and people putting on events that if they go to live streaming an event, people aren't going to watch it at home. But I think our biggest answer to that, and it's a question we get all the time, is we actually usually see the opposite. Once you start live streaming your events regularly, and once you make people aware, you'll find that it will help your event grow. An example that I like to give is, would anybody stop going to the Super Bowl just because they televise it?
Right.
Probably not. It's because the Super Bowl is really good content. So if you have really good content, people are obviously going to show up in person.
Yeah.
And live streaming is a way to actually get people in the stands or get people.
And we've seen, I've heard
attending your
examples of
event.
just people who are maybe looking for even church. They move to a new area, and they're looking for. This is a church example, but they're moving to a new area and they're looking for churches to go to.
Yeah.
And it's like then they're searching all these churches' websites and whatever, and then they start watching your live stream and they go, I really connect with these people.
Yeah.
I really like these people. Now they're gonna come to your church.
Yeah, right. Because they may want to see what your service.
They want to see what it's about before they just
walk
show
in.
up and yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So we always think that live streaming is a way to elevate the event that you already have going on. It's not going to deter anybody from attending.
Right.
And if that's the case, then there may be something wrong with the content you're producing in the first place.
Yeah, that's possible.
So let's talk about some different camera recommendations.
Yeah, and I promise this has been a little long. We're almost done. So stay with us here. We're getting right to our recommendations, and then we'll do some quick Q&A, and we're ready to rock. So let's go with first camera recommendation.
So this is the Canon Vixia HFG21. This is actually the older version that we have on here. That version's even better. And the main reason you're going to like this camera as a starter camera is because it has a beautiful 20x optical zoom lens. It can zoom in pretty incredibly far for a beginner camera. It's got solid low light performance. The Canon lenses built into them will help you do really well in low light. And of course it can do 1080i and 1080p. Some like lower level cameras can't output either. And if you're going to a switcher, that's really important.
Yeah, and this is actually the first camera me and Josh bought.
It is.
So maybe we're a little biased, but we picked right the first time because we've had this camera for now 6-ish years.
And it's
still live. We still use it at events. It grows kind of with your setup. So we really, really like it.
It's a really high quality camera, I'd say.
Yeah,
And the nice thing about it is it's a great starter camera if you don't know how to shoot in manual, but they also have an option for you to shoot in manual, so you can learn how to adjust manual controls.
Yeah, you can learn how to adjust exposure and like aperture,
color balance, all that. It's kind of a fun. This is my first video camera I'm using. I need a lot of different features with it, and you're going to learn a lot using this camera.
Absolutely.
The second piece of equipment we'd like to recommend is the Magnus VT4000. These tripods are great starter entry-level workhorses that we actually are even using in the studio today. I
know my initial thought with this too is you'll see, okay, it's priced $160. I know at first you go, that's kind of a lot for a tripod. But it really does matter, especially with sports or if there's someone moving on a stage. You don't want to get a $40 tripod.
Right, because it's a fluid head tripod.
Yeah, you want to get something that's smooth and nice. And Kevin, maybe we could get like a nice pan with you there. Let's see here. So that's Kevin panning.
This is what a fluid head will give you. Is
maybe we can go back the other way.
It's not super jerky.
It's nice and smooth.
It's not like shaking all over the place. And especially with sports, if you're following someone down a field or someone walking across the stage, you want those smooth movements. So it's well worth it, and it's priced way less expensive than like a
And once again, this is something that we've had for 3 or 4 years, five. If you take care of them, they come with bags.
Reliable.
Like
they're sturdy, they're aluminum.
We've had them forever.
They're not super heavy, and they'll scale with your production over time. So as you get bigger cameras, I think it has up to an 8-pound weight limit. As you get bigger cameras, you can also attach these on. And another nice thing is it has a really easy to use quick release plate. So getting your camera in and out of the tripod
is really easy.
It's extremely easy. And then the last thing we'll recommend as a piece of equipment, this is just stuff if you're just getting started, we definitely think you should go to. This is the Roland V1 HD. It's a kind of like a plug and play beginner's video switcher. It's got 4 HDMI inputs in it, so you can add up to 4 camera angles. It's got a 12-channel built-in audio mixer in it, so you can adjust all the levels of your incoming audio. Big fan of that. It's also got a manual T-bar right here, so you can obviously do fades and stuff like that with this piece. And so, you know, nice little plug-and-play mixer that you can get started with. You can add effects, like picture-in-picture and green screen.
And I would say, too, we've actually got the Vixia kind of hooked up to the switcher here. But like Josh said, it's like plug-and-play, like the BoxCast. You want to switch angles or anything like that, you just say, you know, here's like, it's a little hard to see, but here's like, let's say you're previewing camera 3. You're like, okay, I want to switch. Boom. And, you know, you want to do like a mix effect or like kind of a cross dissolve effect. You know, you're like, okay, switch. Or, hey, we just want to go 1, 2. You know, 1, 2, 1, 2. So it's really, really simple to use,
Yeah,
in
yeah.
my opinion.
So, and you can see on the back there's the 4 HDMI inputs, there's RCA, so you can connect separate audio, there's a preview output, and there's a program output. So it has all the essentials you need for a video switcher, and if it's your first time using a video switcher, this might be a great way to learn. So that's the starter kit, I would say.
Yeah.
The live production starter kit. Of course, if you have any other questions about equipment or these don't fit your needs, like I said, we have the kit.com link in the description, and you can see all the stuff we use, whether it's for professionals, prosumers, or beginners. And hopefully you can find that as a useful library to shop around and find different stuff. As a note, we don't get any sort of incentive to recommend this equipment. It's just stuff that Wade and I like to use, and we like.
A lot of it, like I would say 95%, maybe 100%. We've used like all of it, basically.
Yeah, we've used
we've
all of it.
We've rented it, we've tried it.
Stuff we think works well.
Yeah.
It works well with BoxCast streaming platform, and it's just good stuff. So take a look at those two as well, and then we'll move on to our live Q&A session.
Let me pull up the questions here, and we'll get them in. We've got a couple, and thank you for hanging with us this whole time. But let's start with, let's see here. Yeah, so does BoxCast have an end-to-end diagnostic that can assist in troubleshooting from camera to remote viewer in an audio-video loopback test? Interesting. So we have, I'll tell you what we do have. How about this? If you have more questions about that, definitely email me at questions@boxcast.com or wade.clark@boxcast.com. But what we have to help you kind of troubleshoot your workflow is essentially we have something that we didn't show in the dashboard, but it's called low latency preview. And what that does is it allows you to actually see what you're doing in your broadcast with like a 2 or 3 second delay.
Right.
And we obviously, with the ability to do kind of as much streaming as you want, we recommend you just test as much as you want. You know, if you want to fire up a 4-hour test and you want to try all these different things, try all these different cables, and hook up all these different mics, you are more than welcome to do that. We want you to do that. And you know, like I said, with low latency preview, you can actually hear. You don't have to be on site to listen to that. You can be. We listen to you here in Cleveland. You could be in California, and we could pull up your.
We're also monitoring it live here too.
Right, so we could pull up your broadcast. You could call us, and you'd be like, "Hey, is something going on?" Stuff like that. But certainly, you could pull your dashboard up, look at the low latency preview, and you can watch from home, kind of in like a 2 or 3 second delay. So if something does happen, you can almost like try to fix it before it gets too bad.
And I use low latency preview all the time for troubleshooting audio issues.
So next question. Can you start a stream or record on demand and pause on demand? So you can definitely start a stream, obviously. There's not necessarily a way to pause the stream and then resume it as it goes on. But what we always recommend doing is...
I would do a pre-roll graphic, or like a standby graphic to pause the stream.
Yep.
And some sort of slide you can put up, or mute the camera and put up a slide.
And one thing we didn't even show you in the dashboard too as well, on other plans, not the essential plan, but on other plans, we have a graphic overlays feature. So if you're just like a one camera Boxcaster, you know, little mixer setup, and you're just a small setup, you can actually overlay graphics right on the screen. So that's what we would recommend the most, is probably just, if you need to stop for a reason, make a standby graphic, put it in the stream, mute your audio channels, and just keep playing the live stream. And you could come back instantaneously instead of like pausing and stopping. And then lastly, should the audio and video be in sync, especially lip sync? If not, like what might cause that? So I guess I can answer that too, is so with the Boxcasters, it will be in sync. If you plug in even an RCA and HDMI, and you're getting video from HDMI and audio from RCA, that will all just sync up, and it will look flawless. Now, if you are having audio sync issues, I'd highly recommend either a couple things. Seeing if your mixer has like an audio delay option, or even like this Roland device here has some audio delay options, and trying to kind of sync it up a little better.
Yeah, you can create a delay so it works.
Or because generally audio is a little faster than the video. Or it could be a network issue. Like if you're streaming, like let's say you're just streaming to Facebook now, and you're having like all these sync issues, it could be something with the network that's just I've noticed when it's too low, it will like distort your video, and it will start doing audio sync things, and it'll start doing all this weird stuff. So for more of that, if you're a current client, definitely reach out to us, and we'd be like more than happy to help you with that.
Yeah, we'll help you troubleshoot through that as well.
But that's it. That's all the questions.
That's all the Q&A. So thank you so much for sticking with us through this. I know it was a lot of content. I know we covered a lot. If you have any questions, you can reach out to Wade and I. We'll put our email and stuff in the description, or
Yep.
you can reach us at questions@boxcast.com.
Yeah, questions@boxcast.com goes right to our tech support, and
Yeah.
just address Wade in it, and they'll get it to me.
Yeah, so we really appreciate you guys taking the time with us today. We hope you learned something. We hope you learned about testing your network, how to position your camera.
Yep.
Hopefully you learned something about the BoxCast platform, and hopefully we'll see you. Hopefully we'll see you soon.
Yeah, absolutely, guys.
So,
Thanks for watching.
Thanks for watching. Happy streaming.
Yep, bye.